tanks, landing craft, jeeps, and more. These are the American machines that stormed Hitler's Atlantic Wall. From the blood-soaked beaches of Normandy to the Rhine crossings into Germany, every vehicle played its part in liberating Europe. This is every U.S. vehicle used in D-Day. Landing craft. LCVP, Higgins Boat, the plywood coffin that changed history. 36 men crammed inside, front ramp drops, and hell begins. Andrew Higgins designed it in New Orleans, and Eisenhower called him the man who won the war. 23,358 were built. On Omaha Beach, German machine guns turned the water red the moment those ramps dropped, but they kept coming. LCM, Landing Craft Mechanized. Bigger, heavier. This beast hauled Sherman tanks straight onto the beach. 60 tons of armor rolling through chest-deep water under artillery fire. Without the LCM, tanks stay on ships. With it, the Atlantic Wall cracks. LCVP-R, rocket-armed Higgins. Some Higgins boats mounted 120 rockets that fired simultaneously at beach defenses. The psychological impact was devastating. Imagine 120 explosions tearing apart obstacles and bunkers seconds before troops landed. LCIL, Landing Craft Infantry. These larger vessels carried 200 troops each and could beach themselves. Ramps on both sides meant double the speed getting men ashore. They took brutal punishment, but delivered thousands of soldiers to the fight. LCT, Landing Craft Tank, the workhorse of armored landings. These flat-bottomed vessels carried up to 5 Sherman tanks, slow, vulnerable, but absolutely essential. By D-Day +1, hundreds had delivered armor to expand the beachhead. LST, Landing Ship Tank, the ocean-going monsters. These 330-foot vessels crossed the Atlantic carrying trucks, tanks, artillery, and supplies. Their bow doors opened directly onto beaches, turning them into mobile supply depots. DUK, the 6-wheeled amphibious truck that drove off ships, swam to shore, and rolled inland without stopping. It hauled 5,000 pounds or 25 troops. Some mounted .50 caliber machine guns. Over 2,000 participated in the invasion, creating an unstoppable logistics pipeline. LVT, Landing Vehicle Tracked, amphibious tracked vehicles that crawled over beach obstacles and delivered troops inland. When Higgins boats couldn't push through, LVTs kept going. Tanks. M4 Sherman medium tank, the workhorse that crushed the Third Reich through sheer numbers. Yes, Tigers outgunned it. Yes, it caught fire easily. Crews called it the Ronson because it lights first time, every time. But America built 50,000. For every Tiger, 10 Shermans. By afternoon on D-Day, 2nd Armored Division had landed nearly 200 on the beaches, and they never stopped rolling. M4A1 Sherman, the cast hull variant with rounded front, slightly better armor protection and easier to manufacture. Thousands fought across Normandy's hedgerow hell. M4A3 Sherman, the improved model with Ford's GAA engine, more reliable and powerful. It arrived in time for the breakout from Normandy and pushed all the way to Germany. Sherman Firefly, British modification mounting a 120-pound gun that could kill Tigers. American units sometimes operated these reverse Lend-Lease tanks, giving them desperately needed anti-armor punch. DD Sherman, Duplex Drive, the swimming tank. Engineers mounted canvas flotation screens and propellers on Shermans. In rough Channel seas, many sank with their crews trapped inside. But those that made it provided crucial fire support in the first deadly minutes when every second counted. M5A1 Stuart Light Tank, fast, maneuverable, and reliable. At 17 tons, it raced through Normandy's nightmare hedgerows, scouting enemy positions and screening advances. Crews loved its mechanical reliability. M24 Chaffee Light Tank, Arrived later in the campaign, replacing aging Stuarts, its 75mm gun and improved armor made it a genuine threat while maintaining light tank mobility. Tank destroyers. M10 Wolverine. Open-topped, fast, and mounting a 3-inch gun that punched through German armor. When Panthers appeared, M10s answered with speed and firepower, over 6,000 built. M18 Hellcat, the fastest tracked armored vehicle of the war. 55 miles per hour with a 76mm gun, it hit hard, moved fast, and disappeared before German gunners could react. Crews called it the Hellcat for good reason. M36 Jackson, the Tiger Killer. Mounting a 90mm gun that could penetrate any German armor at combat ranges. It arrived in time for the push into Germany. Panthers and Tigers learned to fear the Jackson. Assault guns and support. M7 Priest, 105mm howitzer on the Sherman chassis. These self-propelled artillery pieces provided mobile fire support that could keep pace with advancing armor. Their high explosive shells demolished German strongpoints. M12 gun motor carriage, 155mm gun on an M3 Lee chassis. These long-range artillery pieces reached deep behind enemy lines, disrupting German reserves and supply columns. M8 Scott, 75mm howitzer on an M5 Stuart chassis. Designed for close infantry support, it delivered high explosive and smoke rounds precisely where infantry needed them. Armored cars and reconnaissance. M8 Greyhound armored car. 6-wheeled, fast, and mounting a 37mm gun. These raced ahead of main forces, probing German positions and providing early warning of counterattacks. M20 armored utility car. The M8 without the turret, carrying scouts and serving as a command vehicle. Its speed and cross-country mobility made it perfect for reconnaissance work. M3 Scout Car, White Motor Company's half-tracked scout vehicle. Light armor, open-topped, but nimble enough to infiltrate enemy territory and report back. Half-tracks. M2 Half-Track, the armored personnel carrier that revolutionized infantry tactics. It carried a squad under armor, mounted machine guns for suppression, and transformed infantry into mechanized assault troops. M3 Half-Track, slightly larger than the M2, carrying more ammunition and crew-served weapons. Different units mounted mortars, anti-aircraft guns, and even anti-tank guns on these versatile platforms. M15 and M16 half-tracks, anti-aircraft variants mounting quad .50 caliber machine guns or 37mm cannons. They protected columns from Luftwaffe attacks and shredded German ground positions when needed. M21 mortar carrier, an M3 mounting an 81mm mortar, mobile indirect fire that moved with the infantry, delivering immediate fire support. Trucks and logistics. GMC CCKW, Deuce and a Half, the truck that won the war. 2.5 tons of cargo capacity, 6-wheel drive, and legendary reliability. Over 560,000 built. After Normandy breakout, the Red Ball Express, endless convoys of these trucks kept Patton's army supplied all the way to Germany. Studebaker US-6. America sent 152,000 of these to the Soviets, but thousands served U.S. forces too. Rugged, reliable, and capable of handling any terrain. Diamond T 4-ton truck, the heavy hauler. It towed artillery, carried bridging equipment, and moved anything too heavy for smaller trucks. Its all-wheel drive conquered Normandy's muddy horror. Mack NO series, heavy 6-ton trucks that hauled supplies, towed trailers, and served as mobile workshops. Their reliability under punishment was legendary. International M5H6 truck, another heavy truck variant, 6x6 drive, hauling critical supplies through bombed roads and demolished bridges. Autocar U8144T, a specialized heavy hauler for the biggest loads, tank transporters, bridging sections, and engineering equipment that rebuilt Europe's infrastructure. Jeeps. Willys MB, the icon. 640,000 built during the war. It went everywhere, did everything, carried everyone. Generals rode them, paratroopers crashed them in gliders, medics turned them into ambulances. Eisenhower called it one of the 3 tools that won the war, alongside the Dakota and the landing craft. Ford PWG, Ford's version of the Jeep, mechanically identical to the Willys. Together they formed an unstoppable tide of American mobility and ingenuity. Artillery prime movers. M4 high-speed tractor. Fully tracked vehicles that towed 155mm long tom cannons and other heavy artillery. They dragged the big guns through mud, craters, and destruction, ensuring American artillery always had the range advantage. M5 high-speed tractor. Similar to the M4 but with improved armor and power. It towed medium artillery and kept the guns moving during rapid advances. M2 high-speed tractor. Earlier model that served throughout the war, proving that tracked mobility was essential for maintaining artillery fire during mobile operations. Tank recovery and engineering. M32 tank recovery vehicle. Based on the M4 Sherman chassis, mounting a crane, winch, and 81mm mortar for smoke cover. When a tank broke down or got stuck, the M32 crew braved fire to recover it. Without them, every disabled tank stays lost. M31 tank recovery vehicle. Built on the M3 Lee chassis, an earlier recovery vehicle that still served in D-Day operations, pulling damaged armor from beaches and battlefields. Caterpillar D7 bulldozer. Armored bulldozers cleared beach obstacles, filled craters, built roads, and literally pushed the invasion forward. Engineers operating these were among the bravest men in Normandy, working under direct fire. Caterpillar D8 bulldozer, the heavy-duty version handling the biggest jobs. It moved mountains of earth, cleared paths through rubble, and built emergency airstrips. Specialized vehicles. M29 Weasel. Designed for snow but perfect for Normandy's flooded fields and swamps. Small, tracked, going places larger vehicles couldn't reach. Paratroopers used them to supply forward positions. M4 Tractor. High-speed artillery tractors without turrets, purely for pulling guns. Unglamorous but absolutely essential for mobile firepower. T2 Tank Transporter. Diamond T prime mover with Rogers trailer hauling 40-ton Shermans over long distances to save track life and maintain mechanical readiness. Ward LaFrance Wrecker. Heavy-duty recovery trucks that cleared roads and recovered wheeled vehicles. They kept supply columns moving when trucks broke down. Ambulances. Wheeled combatant 54 Dodge ambulance, 3/4-ton trucks converted to carry 4 stretcher cases or 7 walking wounded. They raced between aid stations and field hospitals, carrying hope and salvation. Jeep ambulances, modified Willys and Ford Jeeps with stretcher racks. In tight spots where larger ambulances couldn't go, Jeep ambulances braved enemy fire to evacuate wounded. Motorcycles. Harley-Davidson WLA, the Liberator. Military police used them, dispatch riders carried critical messages on them, and some mounted machine guns in sidecars. Over 90,000 served worldwide. Indian 741. Rival to Harley, the Indian motorcycles served with distinction in reconnaissance and messenger roles. Command and communications. M3A1 scout car with radio, mobile command posts keeping generals connected to frontline units, radio trucks coordinated divisions across dozens of miles. WC-56 and WC-57 Dodge command cars, 3/4-ton Dodges fitted with radios and map boards, carrying commanders close to the action. Amphibious Specialists. LVT-2 Water Buffalo. tracked amphibious vehicles that could swim and crawl over any obstacle. They delivered supplies and troops inland from ships without ever touching a dock. Ford GPA, the SEEP, an amphibious jeep. It swam across rivers and drove inland, providing reconnaissance in areas where bridges were destroyed. These vehicles didn't just participate in D-Day, they made it possible. They made it inevitable. They made it victorious.